Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're finally here with our Ezreal updated complete guide. Now we have done one with Press the Attack Ezreal, which I didn't really feel was his best build because I did think Conqueror was better. So here we are with the Conqueror build, but of course as usual, I'm going to put Ezreal's basic guide up in the cards above to check out his skills, living order tips and tricks as well as some combos. But with that said, let's now jump into talking about the build. So it's a really similar or kind of same build, I guess you could say, from that video. Basically, you're going to go for Gluttonous Greaves as a first item rush to get more laning power, because you do get the Omnivamp and the AD in the lane, which is better than getting like a tier, because tier doesn't really give you any combat stats. Then you're going to Mana Mune, of course, which is going to of course give you the mana as well as the damage when you for your auto attacks and your abilities as well. Of course, getting the tier early, and then you have your Triforce, which you can of course get Sheen early. So I like to go for Boots into tier. Like that, and then into Sheen to start stacking my tier, but at the same time get the early Sheen damage. So with the Triforce, we of course get the health, attack speed, AD, ability haste, and of course the most important part, the Spellblade passive, which is going to proc on your Q since it procs on hit effects. And then third item, more or less always going to be Riftmaker. Riftmaker, of course, with the light Riftmaker, 4 seconds to charge fully, but it is going to give you 10% extra true damage on the Void Corruption passive, 12% Omnivamp, AP, as well as health and etc. All of the stats, good stuff. There is very rare instances where you're playing into a very tanky team. Then you might want to go for Blade of the Rune King as your third item. But honestly, if you're playing into that kind of matchup, you probably shouldn't be playing Ezreal anyway, because Ezreal is not really a tank shredder at all. So you probably don't want to be playing Ezreal in that game anyway, right? So Riftmaker. Then most of the time, by default, you want to go for Serelda. Serelda's for the armor pen as well as the slows on your abilities. However, if you are playing into a team that has a lot of healing, then you want to actually go for the Maul Reminder here to give you the armor pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. Grievous Wounds, of course, going to be really important if you're playing into that kind of team that has a lot of healing. And last item, you do have a number of options. So first option is going to be Bork. Now Bork, of course, another item that's been changed. So we have the Ruined item. Of course, we do have the pretty good stats, but of course, you also have the on-hit current health damage, the healing, the drain passive, just an overall good item on Ezreal. But aside from that, you can also go for a defensive option like GA, and then here's another one, Horizon Focus. So Horizon Focus actually has been pretty popular on Ezreal, because even though it gives you, again, ability power, which is not exactly the best stat for Ezreal, he does scale with AP, but not as well as AD. But you already have one AP item over there. So with another AP item here, the Horizon Focus gives you, again, more AP, but other important stats is you get ability haste to cast your abilities even more often, and the Hyper Shot passive. So Hyper Shot passive, of course, gives you an increase of damage by 9% when you hit someone from over 600 units. And take note, this 9% damage increase is on all kinds of damage. It's not just on magic damage. So it's on true damage, it's on physical damage, etc. So this is going to actually help Ezreal a lot as well, because it's going to just increase all of his damage. So it's a really good last item option for Ezreal. I think it's pretty much going to be, your default last item option, something like this. So for the runes, I think Conqueror is the best, because you're generally in long drawn out fights. So you can fully stack your Conqueror, you get the additional stats, and just basically clean house with the Omnivamp, with the AD. Brutal, of course, because you auto attack a lot and your Q also procs it. Giant Slayer in general is the best coup de grace option as well. And I like to go for Bloodline here for more Omnivamp, although Alacrity is also an option as well, but I think you get enough attack speed from your passive already that you don't really need Bloodline. So now we have Bone Plating. Pretty much is almost always going to be Bone Plating. You don't really need Hex Flash on Ezreal because he already has mobility on his E. And then for the spells, it's pretty much always going to be Flash together with Exhaust. So with that said, let's move on to talking about our gameplay. Okay, so now we're hopping into the gameplay. Of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll of course be sure to address them. So one of the beautiful things about playing Ezreal is he's kind of not a very team-reliant champion, in a sense that you don't quite care who your support is on Ezreal. You can have any support. Your team can be kind of anything, because Ezreal is kind of an independent ADC who can keep himself safe. And by that I mean, as long as you know what you're doing, you shouldn't really be dying because of your team's mistakes. It's normally because of your own mistakes. However, one of the weaknesses of Ezreal, aside from his obviously poor wave clear, which is what a lot of people already know about, is that Ezreal cannot really 1v9 carry a game. Like some ADCs, you can kind of 1v9 carry a game. Like if I get fed on, let's say, a Jinx, for example, and my whole team is inting, And if the enemy team is like focusing them and I'm free firing onto the enemy team, I can actually maybe 1v9 carry as a Jinx. I get one reset, I wipe the enemy team, get a pentakill, end the game, something like that. But that's not gonna happen on Ezreal. Ezreal's not a champion that can 1v9 carry. So I have had a lot of Ezreal games where, let's say the game before this game that I played Ezreal, I was like 9-0, but my whole team was like 0-5 on like every position. And like, although I can one-shot the enemy ADC, I can one-shot the enemy jungle, I can one-shot anybody in enemy team except for the tank, I cannot carry because, you know, I can only one-shot like 1 or 2 people before I'm in danger myself and I have to run away. And I can't, you know, I can't get the win for my team basically, whereas if I was playing some other ADC, that's the case. So on Ezreal, what you really want from a team is you just don't want them to feed too hard. Like if they go like 0-2, like, and you're fed, the game is still playable. But if you get fed and they go 0-5, the game's not playable. I mean, honestly, the game's kind of unplayable for majority of ADCs in that kind of scenario. But as I said, if you're playing a hyper carry, the game could still be winnable. But if you're playing Ezreal, the game's pretty much not winnable if you're in a state that your team is, you know, all feeding and you're the only one fed. Of course, if they're even and you're fed, the game is super duper good for you, and things like that. Speaking of team though, we can see Singed on our team doesn't actually have any starting items at all. I'm not quite sure what the plan is there, but a really interesting fact. He has finally bought some items now that he's died. Got first blooded by the Shen. Obviously, a part to play about that was the fact he didn't actually have any items. Obviously, he's fighting with no items against someone who has items, so major disadvantage for him. Okay, enough about the Shen, Singed. Let's talk about ourselves. So here we can see we get a pretty nice engage onto Zeri. Zeri is like 1 HP, has to run for the hills. A little bit too early on the trigger from the Morgana. If she waited for another second or two, Lilia might have been able to actually help us out. But here we're actually going for a dive. So you can see they're kind of stuck under the tower here, so we're trying to shove in the wave as quickly as we can. And then we're looking for a dive angle here. Lilia is coming in, pops the ulti onto the Zeri. Minions are blocking my way though, so I'm trying to make my way there. I'm jumping in onto Zeri. Morgana root actually hits and takes the kill. Lilia gets the Janna. I'm going to actually exhaust the Fizz and run away. Now honestly, I knew I was in danger here, but I thought I was fine. Yone comes in, whiffs the ulti, which definitely does not help my case. Fizz comes in, and the moment I get hit here, I know I'm dead, so there I go. Overall, a 3 for 2 trade, not really the best in the world. But yeah. So, not much Yone can really do here. Apparently, he does have Nullifying Orb, which is pretty interesting rune choice from the Yone. Nothing wrong with it though, it's just normally Yone doesn't really go for that rune. But yeah, so anyways, it is pretty okay here. We did get 2 assists, but we did die once. Unfortunately, we didn't get any kills there, but its situation is still okay. So here, we actually popped the ulti to get a little bit of poke onto the enemy team, but also at the same time thin out the wave, because the wave is way too huge. We can't really fight here. If the enemy team forces a fight, we're gonna basically lose because of the minion wave. So what we're really trying to do here is we're trying to clear not clear, but lower the health of the minions so that we can clear them easily. Because as I said, one of Ezreal's biggest weaknesses is his poor wave clear. So here a fight is breaking out. We hop over, we find Zeri isolated, she pops the ulti, Janna comes in with the shield and the ulti. We're taking a ton of damage, and we whiff 1 Q there, which is actually really crucial, because if we hit that Q, we probably could have killed them both. But now, Janna is 1 HP, Shen is actually ulting the Janna, so I'm going to have to back off. Thankfully, we warded there, and then just hop over the wall. If not, Shen would have just killed us instantly. And yeah, if we actually hit that Q onto Zeri, I think Zeri dies a lot faster, and we might have been able to go onto Janna. So, you know, but a kill's a kill, you know, we still get a kill. Trade 1 for 1 with Morgana dying there as well, I believe. And here now we're just going to shove in the wave and get a reset. Already stacking our tier. Now we're looking for the Sheen. Now if you can complete the entire mana mune on base, you can and should do that instead of getting the Sheen. But most of the time, more often than not, you cannot complete the whole mana mune in one shot. So more often than not, you probably want to pick up the Sheen for an earlier power spike, like what we have here. Dragon fight is going on, but Zeri has shoved in the wave, and I don't want to lose an entire minion wave worth of gold and XP, so I'm going to quickly try to clear the minion wave before making my way to the fight. Thankfully, the enemy team is basically doing Herald, and it's just Janna and Zeri that's contesting. Janna, for some reason, goes over the wall into the dragon pit and basically just ins. Zeri is now in trouble and has to run away. Enemy team gets Herald while we get the dragon instead. And it's a classic, you know, handshake trade here. By the way, guys, a little interesting fact is if you guys watched my last video, the Samira updated complete guide that we released yesterday, this is actually the same duo we're fighting. So last game we played Zeri against the Zeri Yuumi, and this game somebody banned Yuumi, so the Yuumi is now Janna. So now we're playing against a Zeri Janna instead of a Zeri Yuumi, and the Zeri is going for the exact same build she went for the last game. And the Fizz in this game was actually the Vi on my team from last game. So you know, we have the same people, I guess you could say, in the game. We have the Fizz as the Vi from our previous game as well. So really, you know, kind of interesting matchmaking here from Riot itself. But yeah, so here we have to concede the mid tower because the Rift Herald is a little bit too strong. It is of course able to just pick up the tower without any issue, and we can't really do much about it. So we're gonna have to just back off, doing the same thing again, using the ulti to clear the minion wave, or rather thin the minion wave, lower the health of the minion wave, and then we're gonna go over and finish the rest of the minion wave ourselves. So, but Zeri does get a good number of plates here, unfortunately, but not a lot we can really do to stop her. Zeri gets caught by Morgana. We're gonna hop in, try to burst her down. Jenna trying her best to save her ADC. I'm gonna have to pop the exhaust here. We finish her off. Sleep comes in onto the both of them. I'm gonna hit a max range Q to pick up the double kill here. So beautiful, 2 quick kills into my pocket, and you know, we're definitely, you know, starting to snowball ourselves. Really decent amount of goal. However, the main trouble is that our team is not doing too hot. You can see that we have a 3-0 Shen, a 5-0 Fizz, you know, getting really fat in the game as well. So we are a little bit concerned about that because, of course, Shen is really tanky and we're not going to be able to shred tanks very easily. And Fizz, of course, can one-shot us very easily if he's fed, which he definitely is at this point in time. So we definitely want to be cautious about that. So here, picking up our Triforce components and just hitting back out. So here you can see I basically decide to give up top lane tower because I realized that even if I walk to top lane, we're not gonna finish it, not gonna save it in time. So instead I decide to go mid to clear the wave instead. But for some reason Lilia goes in by herself and just dies, and then Morgana tries to help her afterwards, and then she dies as well. It's a classic case of your teammates going in one by one and just dying to the enemy team. Definitely not what you want to see from your team, but unfortunately it does happen from time to time. Enemy team does that from time to time as well. So now we're just going to clear out these minions and, you know, just trying to maintain some farm. You can see enemy team is pushing in mid, so we're hit at mid to collect the wave. However, our whole team is also hit at mid to collect the same wave. And yeah, so we're going to fight a little bit for the wave, but we do get majority of the minions, and we're going to actually back. Now I can see what's going to happen here. You can see that the enemy team is all at bot, and my team is walking to bot. So it looks like a fight is going to happen here, but I have my Triforce power spike, so I want to back and get the Triforce. And then I'm going to launch the ulti down to help my team. Actually tag the Fizz for a little bit of chunk damage. And looks like a fight might be breaking out. I'm running there as quickly as I can. Shen is caught 1v4, gets flung back into the team by the Singe. Yone is going for the backline. In the meanwhile, Shen gets shut down by the Lilia, and I finally make it to the fight. If it's a full-on 5v5 team fight in the bot lane, and my team is actually winning, I exhaust the Zeri. Zeri gets finished off by the Lilia. Picks up a triple. I flash forward to try to finish off the last kill, but it wasn't even needed. Kind of a waste of a flash here. So any team gets completely wiped. A 1-for-5 trade. Beautiful. And here I'm just gonna hit over to mid, clear the wave, and get the tower. Since the whole enemy team is dead, it's free. And my team pushes in the bot wave in the meantime, and we're all gonna rotate over to the dragon. So you hit it over to the dragon. I'm just gonna help our team just focus down the dragon real quick. And we are now on Infernal Soul Point, which is of course the best Dragon Soul and the only one that's really actually even worth playing for in my opinion. We just need to secure that last dragon a little bit later on. So here of course we're going to build towards our Rift Maker next. We still don't have the Mana Mune evolved into the Mirror Mana yet, but we are pretty close. Here it looks like another fight might break out in top lane, so I'm kind of making my way there slowly. But this time we only have 3 of us here, and Lilia and Singe are not here, so I'm not really too keen to look for a fight here. I'm more keen to just take this wave, to be very honest. And the enemy team doesn't actually face check us in that bush anyways. They actually go elsewhere. So initially here I was kind of waiting for the blue buff, but I realized that a fight is probably more important. I'm going to pop the ulti, which hits onto Janna before she sleeps, giving the huge chunk of damage, and Lilia is able to finish her off with her combo. Janna goes down for a free pick. And I'm just going to hit back and pick up the blue buff. Of course, Yone doesn't really benefit a lot from blue buff. He isn't really playing a mage, so I think it's pretty good for Ezreal to take blue buff. You know, with the ability haste, you know, Ezreal is going to be able to dish out a lot more damage. Fight breaks out in the bot lane, we are rotating over. Fizz gets caught, Shen is also getting caught. Both of them do end up going down. Zeri now has to run for the hills, gets a really good W though, and with the locket from the Morgana coming in, it actually gives her the movement speed because she stole the shield from us. And now this is going to allow us to focus down this tier 2 tower and pick up the tower kill. However, we do get caught by the Syndra combo, and Syndra thankfully decides to ult Morgana instead of me, so Morgana is the victim of the one shot and not myself, which is pretty funny in a way, I guess you could say, because normally you would want the ADC. So here, Shen is getting focused by Zeri, but I'm able to not Shen. Yone is getting focused by Zeri, but I'm able to get the 1-for-1 trade. I'm pretty fed, 4-1 and 8. Mirror Mana now evolved at long last, so I do a really decent amount of damage here. I'm gonna recall and really close to getting the Riftmaker now. Just a little bit of goal away from getting that Riftmaker. Really want that Riftmaker. And this game we probably want to go for a stasis because there's not a lot we can really QSS in this game. Yeah, we could QSS Shen taunt and like maybe Janna knock up if we see the Trinity coming, but I think Fizz being as fair as he is, we do want to respect that, and we do want to get ourselves the stasis just in case Fizz goes in on us, so we can of course prop the stasis and try to survive and hope our team can help us. So here there's a huge wave in the bot lane. I'm picking for help because Shen is pushing in the wave. Yone comes over, but Shen is of course just backing off. So here I mean my team is looking for a pick onto Shen, but I think it's really difficult to actually do that. So I'm just going to back and complete my Riftmaker here. Of course, really big buy for me. And now, yeah, nothing too much is happening. Only Baron is up, but neither team can really just do Baron outright. So for now, nothing too much is really going on. We're just kind of just farming minions, just holding the mid wave. And yeah, so now the enemy team is all missing for some time now, so I think something we should do is check Baron because they might be sneaking a Baron. I actually ping around the Baron area that they might be there, but on face check they're actually not there at all, so I'm not sure where the enemy team exactly is. Well, we now know where the Zeri is, and of course we know Shen was there all along. So here I'm trying to find a pick onto Shen because he's getting collapsed on by 4 people, which is what we were trying to do just now unsuccessfully, but here you can see he's stuck high and dry, tanking 4 people's worth of damage. Importantly, I make sure not to use any important cooldowns here, like my ulti, to kill Shen. I thought that they were in that choke, so I was actually ulting the enemy team, not the Shen. But yeah, so we find a pick onto the Shen. The dragon is spawning really soon, but my team is going very deep for a fight, which I think is not necessary. Lilia is going in very, very deep. And she is our jungler. Fizz is going in on me, but I'm able to just jump away. I flash forward to try to finish the kill on him, but he ends up surviving, whereas our jungler Lilia dies. And this is where tragedy struck, because now we don't have a jungle for the Ice Dragon, and we need that to get Infernal Dragon Soul. So there's no point in starting the dragon, no point doing anything with the dragon here. I'm just going to recall and pick up my stasis to try to help against the Fizz. But we definitely don't want to start the dragon. We want to try to delay time to let Lilia respawn and come over to the dragon. But we're going to have to delay like another 10 more seconds for her to revive, and another like 7 seconds or so for her to actually walk to the dragon. Maybe longer than that actually. But yeah, so a little bit problematic. So thankfully the enemy team is not actually starting out the dragon. Here we're just kind of hovering the area. We can see all of them are behind the dragon pit. If I was the enemy team, I would be rushing the dragon here. Yone gets the Q3 stacked up. The enemy team is now starting the dragon, but Lilia is almost here already. Lilia actually makes it here, as you guys can see, but doesn't get the smite. So unfortunately, enemy team does pick up the dragon. And And yeah, so here I'm just kiting out the Shen. Shen goes down. I'm kiting out the Fizz. Fizz focuses the Singed and ends up dying to what? Singe poison, I guess. And here Zeri is chasing me, but honestly I think I can 1v1 the Zeri if she chases me too far. I am like quite a bit more fed than her, and I do have my full stacked Riftmaker here, but I decided not to take the risk of 1v1ing the Zeri, because if I die, I think they might be able to 2-man a Baron, which is, you know, which will be a little bit risky for them for sure. But I just don't want to give them that possibility or even think about it. So I'm just going to clear the mid wave instead. Zeri does, of course, just back off. Syndra is clearing the top wave. So now I clear the wave and I'm going to reset. In this match, I am going for my Seralda's Grudge because there's not a ton of healing on the enemy team. Yep, we have Zeri with some healing. We have Janna with some healing, but it's not an absurd amount, not like a Yuumi or whatnot that I think that I really need anti-heal. So I'm gonna let other people get anti-heal instead. You can see Sage and Morgana already has anti-heal, so I don't really think I need to get anti-heal personally. So instead, I'm just gonna go for the better option, which is the Seralda's Grudge. I'm here picking up the blue buff that I'm looking to join my team. However, I see a huge wave in the top lane. Now, this wave is going to kill the tower if I don't clear it, so I really need to clear this wave. And this is the opposite side of Baron, so this is really problematic because if the enemy team has good macro, they will take advantage of me pushing this wave. And they will fight a fight with my team at the Baron area, or they will force the Baron, something like that. So I make sure I clear the wave enough that it's not going to kill my tower, and then I'm not going to push another wave. I'm just going to rotate over to the Baron area to help my team. Yone is getting some trading going on with the Shen, but Shen is so tanky, he doesn't take too much damage. Yone doesn't have Bork in this scenario, so I suspect they are all around this river area. They actually are, with the ward spotting them from the Yone. No one really gets caught here. And a fight is going to happen here for sure. Morgana gets chunked out, so she has to recall. So definitely enemy team should be looking for a fight here. My ult ends up hitting nobody. Unfortunately, a little bit off. But Zeri loses her mind, decides to flash in for the ulti and just dies basically. Shen is next to follow suit and the enemy team is falling apart. Fizz comes in, I'm just going to try to avoid it, but I actually end up getting hit by the fish instead. But with that, Syndra steps up and basically just gets one shot by me. And with the ace here, we basically win the game. Don't need Elder or Baron. We can just run straight down mid and end the game. Really wonky team fight, that one, but yeah, that did work out for my team. And yeah, we do get the dub. So as usual, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.